This is Janice Daniels. I'm the 9th mayor of Troy. I earned that title because a really great group of supporters worked really hard to get the message of limited government, fiscal responsibility, and accountability out to the voters of Troy. Then my term in office was cut short because I had the audacity to think that my right to free speech was protected. I also had the temerity to vote the way I campaigned. How bold, how reckless of me. But, there's much to be learned from defeat. It's always said that pain builds character. I've suffered a lot of pain in my life, and so I suppose that's why I'm such a character. Thank you. Anyway, I'm joined here this morning with actually 3 women who I believe are liberty's greatest friends that I personally know of. One of them is our own Gina from Lathrop Village. The other one is the newest member of the Ladies of the Roundtable, Allison from Grosse Pointe. And the third one, in my opinion, is America's singularly greatest female patriot of our time. And that is KrisAnne Hall. Good morning, KrisAnne.
Good morning. I don't know that I deserve that accolade, but I say thank you anyway.
Well, I think that you do, and I think that a lot of people agree with me that you do. You are a fascinating woman. You are intelligent. You are bold, and I think that most of our listeners know of you, KrisAnne, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to give a thumbnail sketch of your own Liberty ministry and the various ways that the audience can tap into your knowledge.
Well, okay, thank you. I am a constitutional attorney, but I'm a member of the endangered species list, I believe, because I'm actually a constitutional attorney that understands the Constitution, and that puts me at a bit of a disadvantage when dealing with politicians, but an advantage when teaching the Constitution, because that's what I do. I teach the Constitution all over the country. I have 6 different classes that I teach. As a matter of fact, I am teaching a 6-hour workshop this morning in Delaware. And I teach about 265 classes in over 20 states every single year. And as you said, it's a Liberty ministry. We teach high school, middle school students, college students, adult groups, state legislators, and we teach sheriff's offices and any other law enforcement who are willing to and wanting to know about their constitutional oath to defend and support the Constitution of the United States.
Well, that's excellent. KrisAnne, it sounds like you might be in an airplane right now, or a wind tunnel.
No, not in an airplane.
Okay.
But I am in my car.
Okay, so there is a wind tunnel of a sort that's going on. That's why the connection is a little bit, sounds a little bit like a wind tunnel, quite frankly. But
sorry about that. There's no wind.
Your voice is loud and clear. You must have rolled up the window.
Okay. No?
Well, that cleared it up. That's wonderful. Just by virtue of us talking about it, it cleared up the wind tunnel sound. I like that word remonstrance. Your newest project is a remonstrance of the people of the United States of America. And I wonder if you want to give the audience a little background of that word itself, remonstrance.
Well, a remonstrance is a list of grievances against the government on how they have broken a promise or violated the liberties of the people. And my friend Robin Kerner and I have written this document, the Remonstrance of the American People, for 2 purposes. One is to highlight the fact that June 15th of 2015 was the 800th birthday of the Magna Carta. And we wanted to use this holiday, this 800th birthday of the Magna Carta, to highlight the history of the Constitution and the relevance of the Constitution today, because we have so many people who believe that the Constitution are being taught that the Constitution is outdated and an irrelevant document to our times. But, that's what they have to teach in order to circumvent the Constitution, expand the power of the American federal government. And so this Magna Carta, or this American Remonstrance, is written in the spirit of the Magna Carta, but is a remonstrance of the American people, grievances against our government today on the ways that they are violating our liberty and violating the Constitution of the United States.
Well, you had taught us last year that the Magna Carta was the document that basically the Declaration of Independence was written as a template to, and so your remonstrance is like the Declaration of Independence is the template for this document. And it goes through a lot of whereas. One of them that I especially like, it says, whereas almost all representatives are in violation of their oath and therefore wield delegated power without legitimacy. I'm of the opinion, quite frankly, KrisAnne, that they are all in violation of their oath of office because they routinely vote for bills that they have not read, do not understand, and do not go into the background of the bills that were written that are being amended, so we have layer upon layer upon layer of bad legislation. And I'm of the opinion... Well, go ahead.
I have one that I would probably hold to exception of that.
Who is that?
That is Justin Amash.
Justin Amash yes.
Yeah, he would probably, that's why we said almost everyone.
That's cute. But I would wonder as well if Justin Amash really reads, because the way the legislation is written, it's almost impossible. I mean, I think it actually is impossible to read. And so I'm of the opinion that we need to take 100 years worth of legislation and throw it in a fire, burn it all, and none of us would be any worse for the wear. And let's start fresh.
I think you're right. I think the problem is systemic. The fact that our system does not actually conduce compliance with the Constitution. And the laws of our unit that the federal government make do not either. You think about that. Tax time every April 15th. We file income taxes, and then we swear under penalty of perjury that everything is accurate and true on our tax return. But in reality, it is impossible for any single person in the United States to comply 100% with the tax code.
That's exactly right. I like this line. It says, all laws, in your remonstrance document, I might say, all laws that seek to limit those rights of the people that are codified in the Bill of Rights shall be repealed. That basically is in keeping with what I'm saying. Every law that does not conform to the Bill of Rights must be repealed. And I'm hoping...
Well, in actuality, that is demanded by the Supremacy Clause in the Constitution. The Supremacy Clause says that no law written by Congress that is not made in compliance to the Constitution is valid. And so in reality, we don't have to repeal those laws, although we should technically get them off the books. But in reality, we don't have to repeal them because by Supremacy Clause, they are no law at all if they are in conflict with the Constitution.
That's exactly right, and that's why the nullification process is so important. And I see that you also mentioned nullification in your remonstrance document, and I appreciate that as well. So what is your game plan to get this document out into the media, into the larger audience of the American people?
We're just using the grassroots engine. We are trying to get this into the public awareness by what you're doing, Janice, and helping us get this word out. We have people who are volunteering, and your listeners can do this as well. Just simply go to magnacarta.us and share the document through their social medias, with their friends. Share it with their local radio stations, their local news, and the local school systems as well. I wonder how many of our school children and our students, from kindergarten all the way through college, actually realize that the birthday of the Magna Carta was on June 15th, and the relevance and importance that the Magna Carta has to our Constitution of the United States. And so what we're trying to do is use this event to bring an awareness throughout this month and into the future. And people can go to magnacarta.us and sign up and help us get this mainstream. Our big goal, our big dream, is to collect enough money to pull a full-page ad in the New York Times for our remonstrance. So then we'll actually really, really get this into the mainstream. But I believe that our biggest force still lies within the engine of the people. Samuel Adams said, "We don't need a majority; we just need a tireless minority who are willing to set the brush fires."
You know, that's true, KrisAnne. In fact, the ladies and I, as we were driving in this morning, we were talking about that very fact that at the grassroots level, we need to organize, mobilize groups of people to actually take flyers and deliver them door to door and knock on doors and start talking to people about liberty principles, because that's the only way that the grassroots is going to penetrate that barrier that the media, the mainstream media, puts on any kind of resistance to this socialization of this country.
Yeah, absolutely. We have had the wrong narrative dictated to us by mainstream media for way too long. And we're not going to combat the real evil in America by simply voting and changing out the occupants of our offices. We need a revolution of the mind here in America, a revolution of the mind of the people to bring us back to liberty's first principles. And that's only going to happen through proper education.